Hey everybody, welcome to my bug out location. And in today's video, not only are you going to learn that you almost certainly have something in your backyard that will not only feed you, but will also produce life-saving medicine for you in a grid down situation. And if you are middle-aged or older like I am, you will definitely want to grab your pen and a notepad and take notes, because again, this item that you almost certainly have in your backyard will feed you and give you life-saving medicine in a post-collapse world. So let's jump into it. Now, what is so amazing about what you are going to learn in today's video is not only will this provide you food in a post-collapse situation, not only will it provide you vitamins and nutrients to put into your stomach when everybody else is starving, this will also help to control your blood sugar levels and also your cholesterol levels, and also detoxify your liver. So the thing that is going to be a real lifesaver in a SHTF scenario where you just can't run down to the pharmacy or run down to the grocery store is the lowly dandelion plant. Yes, the lowly dandelion weed. And like I mentioned earlier, this is edible. You can actually eat the whole plant, the leaves, the flowers, the root, everything. I have personally put the leaves on sandwiches just like you would lettuce. And besides treating this like lettuce, you can also treat it like spinach, where you can saute it and add it to your other foods that will help extend those foods, plus add a ton of nutrients to your food. I have also battered and fried the flowers, and those are called like fritters, and those kind of reminded me of like deep fried shrimp. They weren't bad at all. And I've made dandelion jelly out of the flowers, and that really reminded me of honey. It tasted almost exactly the same. Now really quick before we get making the medicine out of this, medicine that will likely save your life in a grid down situation, just a reminder of how chocked full of vitamins and nutrients that the lowly dandelion weed is. If this were a grid down situation where I just couldn't run to the grocery store, I would be harvesting the leaves during the growing season and adding this to my foods to not only add the extra nutrients to my foods, but to also help extend the food I have stored. And today we're actually going to learn how to make two different medicines out of this lowly weed. The first medicine that we're going to make is going to be to help control your cholesterol in a grid down event. And the second medicine that we're going to make is going to help you control your blood sugar and also detoxify your liver, again, in a grid down event where you just can't run to the pharmacy. So this is just kind of something helpful to remember. With the dandelion, the leaves help to control your cholesterol, and the roots of the plant help to control your blood sugar and also detoxify your liver. So just remember that. Leaves, cholesterol, roots, blood sugar levels, and detoxify your liver. Let's go. So with the dandelion leaves, we are just going to simply gather a handful of these so that we can make a medicine tea out of it, again, to help us with our cholesterol levels. And in today, we're just going to get a handful of it, but if you were making this tea on your own, you'd want at least 2 teaspoons worth of the leaves to put into the tea medicine that we're going to make. Now, normally I would be collecting these leaves in the spring or early summer instead of more in the late fall or early winter time, but hey, this is for demonstration purposes for YouTube. And if this was early spring or summer, I would be collecting a lot more than just a handful, because I would dehydrate or dry quite a few of them out so I could drink this tea on a daily basis if I needed to. So now, since we got ourselves a handful of leaves, let's go up and make this medicine tea. So now the next step that we're going to do to make a tea medicine that would help control our cholesterol in a grid down event is, with the dandelion leaves that we picked, we are now just going to break them up, or you could cut them up into small pieces. We're going to put them in this glass container here. And we are going to do this while our water is coming to a boil over the open fire over there. Again, I am just using a handful of leaves here, but if you want to be exact by this, you will need at least 2 teaspoons of the dandelion leaves per cup of water. And if I didn't already mention it, I had already washed these leaves off. And I'm just breaking it up into pretty small pieces, because the more surface area that you have, the better your tea medicine will be. Now we're going to remove our water that we brought to a boil. And now we're just going to take our 1 cup of boiling water and pour over our dandelion leaves and then we are just going to cover this and let it set for 15 minutes. So we'll see you back in 15 minutes. Okay, now since it's been 15 minutes, we are going to strain the dandelion leaves from our dandelion medicine tea. And now I'm going to pour the tea back into the clear glass jar just so you can see what it looks like. And you can see that it changed from that crystal clear water to a very slight yellow tint. Okay folks, let's give this a taste test a little closer to the fire where it's warmer at. And real quick, before I drink this on camera, just a reminder, you can find over 400 pages of recipes just like this where you can make your own medicine in a grid down event where you just can't run to the nearest pharmacy. This is a book that I wrote myself, and it contains clear step-by-step directions of how you can make, again, your own natural medicine using the weeds and the trees that grow around you. You'll find medicinal recipes for everyday ailments like headaches and high blood sugar and high blood pressure, infected skin cuts, high cholesterol. There's just a ton of information in that book. And right now it's only 25 bucks for a physical hard copy of the book, and I will put a link to that down below. All right, let's see what this tastes like. Cheers. It's got a little bit of an earthy taste, nothing too bad, not overpowering. This really didn't taste too bad at all. If I were going into a grid down situation where I just couldn't run down to the pharmacy, I would drink this 3 times a day. I would drink 1 cup of this in the morning, 1 cup of this midday, and then 1 cup of this in the evening, along with cleaning up my diet and also getting more physical exercise. All right, now let's get on with learning how to make the medicine that will help control your blood sugar and detoxify your liver in a grid down situation. Let's go. Now here is where dandelion is really going to save my butt in a grid down situation. While I will never be on the cover of a men's fitness magazine, I'm not exactly obese either. But unfortunately, type 2 diabetes runs really strong in my family. Now I am glad to say that my blood sugar levels typically, most of the 99% of the time, remain in the normal level just due to my diet, my way of eating, and also getting physical exercise. But if a grid down situation and we have to start eating rice and stuff like that, this is definitely a medicine I would be taking in a grid down event. And in fact, I am planning on making and starting to take this medicine now in good times just because it helps to control your blood sugar and your insulin sensitivity. So the part of the dandelion plant that you are going to use to help with your blood sugar levels and your insulin sensitivity is actually the root of the dandelion. And I'm going to use this handy dandy tool here to actually harvest the root of the dandelion. So all I'm going to do is just simply place this weeding tool directly over the center of the dandelion weed, push it down, give it a spin, pull it up, and it's got this handy dandy plunger thing on the end of the tool, top of the tool, so I can push this down, and now I just pull the dirt away from the dandelion to expose the root. And this is something that is important to remember here, and that is that you really want to harvest dandelion roots in the fall, late fall or early winter. It's during this time of the year that all of the plant's energy will be down in the root of the plant instead of up in the leaves. I personally like to harvest this time of the year because the plant is mostly dormant, but you can still tell what it is and easily identify it to harvest it. Now I am actually going to harvest a whole bunch more of these off camera because I am going to make myself enough of this medicine to last me all year. So I will see you folks back up at the cabin. Now what I'm doing is I'm just simply cleaning the dirt off the roots. And now since I've got the dirt cleaned off of the roots, now I'm just going to chop the cleaned roots up into small pieces, and I'm going to put about 2 teaspoons worth of these chopped roots into this mason jar here. And just as a reminder, here in the late fall and or really early springtime, when these plants are more in their dormant season, that is when all that inulin, I think it's pronounced inulin, is going to be down in the roots, and it's that inulin that's going to help you control your blood sugars and your insulin sensitivity in a grid down situation. Plus, And I don't remember if it's the inulin that does this or not, but plus this dandelion root is just really kick butt for your liver. In essence, I have about 2 teaspoons of the chopped dandelion roots inside this mason jar. Now I'm just going to pour 1 cup of boiling water that I just took off the fire pit over the dandelion roots, so the hot water can start extracting the good stuff out of the dandelion roots. And now I'm going to cover it and let it steep for the next 15 minutes. See you then. Okay, now since this has had 15 minutes to steep, we are now going to strain the roots from the medicine tea that we made. And we are going to go ahead and pour the medicine tea back into this clear jar so that you can see it. And it's getting dark here really fast, so you may not be able to see this on the screen, but it is a really light yellow in color. And let's give it a taste test. All right, bottoms up. That was not bad at all. It had just a little bit of an earthy taste to it, but nothing that made me want to gag or anything like that. Again, I used about 2 teaspoons of the root that I harvested today in this tea here that I just drank, and all the rest of that root that I harvested, I'm going to take that home and make a tincture out of that so that I can regularly take this until next fall, next early winter. Now, if this were a grid down situation, I would drink this 3 times a day, just like the last one. A cup in the morning, a cup midday, and a cup in the evening. Now, I would not drink this for the rest of my life 3 times a day. I would drink this every day 3 times a day for about 3 weeks, and then I would take a week off and then keep repeating that by drinking it 3 weeks at a time and then taking a week off, etc. And it's my understanding the reason why you want to drink this for several weeks and then take a week off and then keep repeating that process is because this really causes your body to create bile, which is a good thing, but you don't want your body to become dependent on this to actually start creating the bile. Anyways, folks, if you would like to see a whole playlist that shows you how you can make medicines just like this in a post-collapse situation, then click on the video that should be appearing on the screen just about now to learn what 99% of the other preppers don't know. Anyways, folks, this is enough internet for me today. I still actually need to cook my dinner, and it is getting very dark out here. Anyways, folks, if you made it this far, hey, thank you very much for watching, and I pray that you have a good night.